This video is brought to you by Vita Bee Health. Thanks Vita for sponsoring this channel. Please check them out. Hello everyone. Today I have the pleasure to speak with Dr. Giovanni Formato, a veterinarian in charge of the Apiculture Unit at the Instituto Zooprofilattico Sperimentale del Lazio and Toscana, a government institute dedicated to food safety that has an interesting subunit dedicated to honeybee health. In this conversation, I want to introduce my audience to my dear friend Giovanni and his lab and discuss how his lab is helping beekeepers in Italy. I hope you enjoy it. And now I introduce to you Dr. Giovanni Formato. Giovanni, thank you very much for your time to join us today. It is a pleasure and an honor to have you here in my channel. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Thank you, Umberto, for inviting me today here with you and your auditors.
Yes, so we are growing fast, and we have a lot of people that very curious about beekeeping all over the world. And for this episode, I thought, why not to invite Giovanni to introduce us about his lab in Italy, how his lab is doing to help the beekeeping community there. And I want to start this conversation, Giovanni, to first, I'm gonna show the video about your lab, and then right after that, I want to start to ask you questions about the lab, the mission, what you guys are doing, what's the problems in beekeeping over there. So let me start with the video, so I can show here to everybody. Okay, let's do this. Very nice, very nice. Giovanni, so you are part of this big lab. So you are the head of the beekeeping. So can you explain the role of your lab in this big picture?
Okay, sure. Thank you, Umberto. So as you have seen by this video, mainly we are a laboratory. Indeed, we are a governmental laboratory dedicated to provide diagnosis of animal diseases, and of course, bees are included. And we guarantee safety of food. This is why we are in the context of the One Health, so protecting the health of humans, of animals, and to protect the environment. So this is our main topic here, sustainable living and One Health approach.
And so beekeepers or many other farmers send you guys, what kind of activities you guys do? Is samples, a lot of samples?
Yes. Usually what we do here is to protect bee health, and we provide support both to beekeepers, but even to advisors and veterinary public services. And in this way, we are able to support beekeepers in case they have losses of colonies, or in case they have a reduction in the production. And so we try in general to support beekeepers, even providing training on bee diseases, how to prevent, how to control, and the same for the advisors. This is our task. In the same time, we collaborate with other research institutions, with the governmental institutions to provide technical support. Among the analysis that we perform as a laboratory, apiculture laboratory, we work on the diseases of the bees, and after we work together with other laboratories in our institute, but they are from other departments. For example, chemist department, they make studies on the residues in hive products of pollutants or pesticides, or for example, antibiotics or other veterinary medicines that can at the end be found inside of the hive products. Moreover, we provide the support for identifying the subspecies of the bees with a morphometrical analysis, or through the PCR, working at the level of the DNA. So this is our main goal, to provide the support to the beekeeping sector. So we try to do this in several ways, through the laboratory's activities or through other projects in which we try to support and to even promote exchanges between the researchers and beekeepers, and so on. I don't want to boring you too much.
Oh,
Probably it's better if you tell me what you could be interested.
Oh yeah, I'm interested in everything. For example, I'm interested to know from all the samples that you received there, what's the main problem that's going on over there in Italy that people are more concerned about?
Okay. Currently, people here is very concerned about Vespa velutina and Vespa orientalis. These are two invasive species, and for us at least, and it's especially now in this time of the year. Here we are in autumn, and this kind of invasive species, they are destroying a lot of hives, a lot of colonies. Here we have as autochthonous Vespa crabro, but usually they didn't cause a lot of mortality of the hives. At the end, old beekeepers, they say that Vespa crabro was good in eliminating the weakened colonies. But now with this other Vespa, that is the Vespa velutina and Vespa orientalis, we can see that a lot of colonies are killed by these invasive species.
Wow.
And so beekeepers are very worried about this topic. I don't know how is the situation in the US, for example, or in other countries, for these enemies of the bees. Sorry.
No, I think the Vespa, there is some introductions here, but I don't think the beekeepers are very concerned about that at the moment. I think the biggest problem here it's that beekeepers are concerned about are varroa mites, one of the mains, and some of the beekeepers about pesticides exposure.
Yeah,
which is a global challenge for all the beekeeping community.
The same for us, but and even frauds, a lot of issues, a lot of concern is about this.
About is a fraud, fake,
yeah.
fake honey, that kind of fraud.
Oh, fake honey, yes. fake honey.
You guys test for that too? For there is any way to identify fake honey from your lab?
Yes, we do that, but what we have seen with other labs that it is very important to work in synergy, as frequently not all laboratories have different technical methodologies to detect the frauds, the fake honey. And so we are now trying to make a network between different laboratories and to share samples, suspected samples. We think this is important. The collaboration among laboratories is very, very important to identify frauds.
Yes, it is not. It's not an easy task to identify honey fraud, and the bad people are still evolving the way they can fake honey, which is very, very annoying. So we always need to work together to try to anticipate those bad people always trying to overcome the system for profit, which is always a terrible thing, because I can tell you, Italian honey is very special, depending of the region and the floral area where they're coming from. There are very powerful honeys coming from Italy, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful honey. But Giovanni, so when people send you samples, they're sending more samples of bees or vespas now? What's the proportion of samples that you get from beekeepers and what they ask you to analyze?
Yes, so you're right. As we can say that even the matrix of the samples frequently is according by the time of the year and by which are the main discussion of beekeepers around. And so usually what we receive here are, so the main issue here is Varroa, apart of this issue that I told you of the Vespa velutina and the Vespa orientalis, but they probably are more related to the specific time of the year, that is this in autumn. But of course, Varroa as well is the main issue. Frequently we receive samples of dead apiaries, and we go to investigate which is the reason, which could be the reason. And so I have to tell you that Varroa mite and pesticides, they are the main causes here of mortality of the apiaries. And it is very sad, especially because of the pesticides, because it could be prevented. And for Varroa, of course, there is a big concern by side of beekeepers. In the same time, here beekeepers try, and even we try to suggest them to go toward organic compounds to treat Varroa mite for a more sustainable approach and less amount of residues in the honey. And so we are a lot focused on finding new methodologies to treat Varroa in an effective way. Now I can tell you a method is this inclusion of a queen ringing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it is used in the US. But here is something, there is a lot of attention by side of beekeepers. They want to be informed, especially in association of the queen ringing with the use of the oxalic acid.
So, if I understood correctly, the beekeepers there are trying to try to select the bees to control Varroa by themselves. I think this is something that the majority of the beekeeping community all over the world are looking for. And I can see by the statistics on my own channel, when I put videos about sustainable ways of beekeeping, there is a lot of more views. People are more interested to try to find ways to let the bees be the bees themselves don't need to be, the beekeeper don't need to be taken care of too much as it's supposed to be. I would say beekeepers are not supposed to be caring for the bees 24/7 like most of the people are today. Concerns about everything. In the past, we just keep the bees in a specific area and then go back a couple months later, and the bees were fine and with a lot of honey and a lot of good things coming from it, which is not the situation right now. I think this is a problem worldwide, and so I'm very happy to see that the Italian community there is also looking for sustainable ways to keep their bees. It is a decision that the beekeeping community is gonna have to do if we're gonna follow the path of creating more problems and also creating solutions for these problems, or if we need to stop and rethink what we're doing and try to go back in a way that we need to find a way to keep the bees stronger so they can take care of themselves as they normally did for millions of years. I don't know if you agree with me with that. It is a decision that the beekeeping community is going to have to make.
Yes, and currently here in Europe, there is a big project called Better Bee. And the goal here is to support bees in facing the stress they have, starting from the climate change up to varroa mite. And so in this project, a lot of efforts are done to identify strains of or to identify bees that are more resistant to varroa by one side, and to the other to support bees in making the hives, the boxes, more insulated by worm, especially worm or cold. And so all these efforts are done to support bees in facing the stressors they are currently exposed. Yes, so I agree with you, of course, and of course I agree.
I want to know more about this Better Bee project later on. I have some thoughts and to bring a couple other people to speak about the Better Bee project. It's a gigantic project, and I'm interested to hear more about that. But Giovanni, right now I want to focus on your lab. How many people are working with you? It's a big number. You have a big team.
So in my institute, we have more or less 600 people involved in 2 Italian regions. And our lab is small, very small. So far, we are about 10 people. And let me say that 7 or 7 of them are involved in project activities. And the other are involved in analysis that currently we receive for routine.
So you have a research part of the lab and also the routine sample analyzing part of the lab. Can you give us a little overview about the current projects that you guys are working on right now, if you can, of course?
Of course, with pleasure. So the main project we are involved now is a European project that is called BeeDeNet. I will send you the link of the web page, and people can go there and check out the website. And here we had the goal of this project is to share best beekeeping practices with beekeepers, with the support even of the researchers in describing properly the practices and to identify the best methodologies, for example, to control varroa mite or to monitor the varroa infestation level. And the same for other bee diseases and bee practices. So this is the main project we have, and the second one we are involved. So in this main project, BDNet, we coordinate 18 partners in Europe. And again, here the goal is to reach sustainability, to reduce the use of the medicines in the apiary, to support beekeepers in controlling diseases through an exchange knowledge process. And the second project we have, we are involved big as well, is this Better Bee that I told you. The same, I will send you a link for this. And we are involved in leading in one work package in Better Bee. And this work package is focused in reducing the stress linked to Varroa and invasive species, the stress of the bees. For Varroa, what we are doing is set up a tool, online tool for beekeepers, where they just have to specify the address of their apiary, and the system, the software, address them toward the best treatment for that moment of the year they can provide to the bees. So as you know, in organic beekeeping, most of the treatments are related to the external temperatures. For example, thymol or formic acid. And so it is good to provide the beekeepers a support in identifying which is the best treatment to do in their apiary in a specific moment of the year. And a nice thing is that we are trying to put in relationship this address of beekeepers toward the medicine with the forecast. So of course, if in the next week they will have colder or warmer temperatures, beekeeper can be advised and they can be addressed to the proper treatment. So this is one activity we do in Better Bee. Another one is to identify best traps for small-head beetle and for Vespa velutina. So this is what we are doing in that project. And the last thing we are doing is set up a guideline for beekeepers and those that build the beehives in most effective way for thermal insulation of the colonies. And the third project, European project we are involved with is called Insignia. And here the main goal is to set up a methodology to monitor the environmental pollution using the beehives. Apart of these three European projects, we have other minor projects. One is to protect our Apis mellifera ligustica bee, as we are having a lot of genetical pollution from other parts of the world, and the purity of Apis mellifera is always decreasing. So we are trying to identify some protection apiaries in some natural protected areas where it is possible to keep this bee and to select it, especially against Varroa and other diseases, as you mentioned before. Another activity we are having is for American and European full brood, to identify the best methodology to treat them, avoiding the use of antibiotics. A study that we have done recently is treating some colonies with oxytetracycline, and after go at the level of flowers and to see what is happening there. So what happened there? We found genes of resistance inside of the flowers to the oxytetracycline, And at the same time, we found even very, very small amounts of residues of the treatment done in the beehives. So this is why we are always more oriented toward avoid the use of the antibiotics in beekeeping, as it could be even a source of antimicrobial resistance.
Interesting. You guys are working in so many different areas at the same time. I'm interested to hear more, if you can, to elaborate on how we're going to use the hive to quantify pollution. I think this is a very interesting topic.
Yeah. So in the context of Insignia, that is this pilot project in Europe to provide the guidelines on how to monitor the environment with the bees, we identified a methodology that is called Api strips. And these are two strips that you place inside the beehive, and you leave them for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, you take them out, the strips, and you analyze the strips, and you are able to identify most of the pollutants and pesticides. So this is a very interesting methodology that was obtained through this project. And we would like to propose to the European Commission to use this methodology to monitor environmental pollution in Europe. The project coordinator here is Sief van der Steen. He's from Netherlands, and it could be probably very interested to show you the data that he obtained in different European countries. So we could compare pollution with this methodology in different European countries, and now we let's say we have a kind of benchmark for proper interpret the results obtained by this kind of methodology.
It is quite interesting. It's quite interesting project because pollution and I'm trying to do a lot of research on that myself. There is a strong correlation with longevity of human beings in the blue areas. There is some specific areas in the world that people live much longer. And one of the factors people found there is related with longevity is the amount of things that people are being exposed and the quality of life. And I think projects like that could identify or even generate more data related with that. Because if we can identify the factors that are killing us, but we cannot see it or feel it because, it takes a lot of time to accumulate things until the real damage can be seen. I think projects like that could help not only the bees, but help a lot of people out there, so we can maybe change some of the things that we are doing, that we are polluting everything. And a lot of people not realizing that there are a lot of those components that we spread around that by itself doesn't do anything, but in combination with other things that we put in the past, then become a big problem. And we need to identify those. And projects like that, I think they're very powerful to identify those synergistic effects of different compounds and problems that we might have around us. So thank you for to put the work on that. It's very interesting.
Yes. Thank you. And of course, the bees, they are indicator of the environmental quality. And of course, if the environment is clean, even human health is protected. This is a very interesting example of One Health.
All right, Giovanni, I think this is a phenomenal interview to introduce the lab. I will leave a link with all those projects that you mentioned in the description of the video, so people can check it out. and I'll definitely be following up with all the names that you suggested for podcast interviews in the future. Do you have any other message to the people here in America and other places around the world that you want to share about the bees and the work that you are doing?
Yes. Okay, first of all, I would like to tell you that I will provide you even some pictures that could be of support to better understand my bad English to the listeners. And what I would like to tell them is it is very important. I appreciate very much your initiative to make a networking in beekeeping. It's very important to learn each other, to learn from experiences depending by the activity that we do in different fields, by different countries, different kind of beekeeping. So I support this networking. I think it's very good. Even pick up the ideas of others and propose collaboration. This is very good. So if any one of you would like to collaborate with us, we are very open and we are interested in collaborating. If you go on our website, BeTheNet, please go there, give a look to the practices and any kind of suggestions you have to improve our activity. It is very, very welcome. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for the nice words about the work we're doing here. Giovanni, it was a pleasure to meeting you. It was a pleasure to know more about the projects you were involved in. And yeah, thank you for everything you're doing, man.
Thank you. The pleasure was all mine.
Thank you so much. And for you guys at home, thanks for watching Inside the Hive.tv, the show about bees. See you guys in the next one.